this is Anders from Reason, just talking through the slspress tutorials on how to get your login for your different serverless functions. Obviously, to be able to log something, we need a serverless project to start. So I've just put together a quick serverless project using the sls.press serverless framework. There's more information on that framework in the description below, and there's some resources on the sls.zone website. But just as a quick overview, we've got two endpoints here. We've got a good, they're just console logs, this is good, and then some good JSON. And then we have /bad, which is a bad endpoint, which will console error, this is bad. They'll also dump a stack trace, and it'll throw an error using the sls.press application error handler. So to get started, first of all, I'm going to run through getting the logs when you're running serverless locally. As part of that, I'll just quickly show within plugins here, I have serverless offline defined and installed accordingly. So I'm just going to run that with serverless offline from the project folder. That should kick in. So we can see here we've got our debug information saying we're running on localhost 3000. And we've got two endpoints, good and bad. So I'm just going to go back to Chrome and hit the first one of those. So we'll go with good. So we can see that's returned as expected. This is good. And if we have a look in our logs from serverless offline, we can see that we've got the console log from this is good. And we also see the request body logged out from the serverless offline plugin. One thing to note is that the serverless offline plugin it doesn't do different colors, so you'll see everything in green by default that you're logging out, and then the system messages from the plugin will display in the browny orange color. So we do get a copy of that response body there. So if I hit the bad endpoint, so it's returned as a 500 as expected. And you can see here that we do get the this is bad console error. We get our dump stack trace. And then we see our error there saying this is bad. So debugging, or at least logging, from a serverless offline point of view is very easy. It would be the same as any other node application. So I'm just going to quit out of serverless offline, so Control-C out. And once that's done, I'm just going to clear my console and do a serverless deploy. I'm just going to fast forward through this bit while the stack deploys, and we'll be back shortly. Okay, now that that has deployed successfully, we've got our Lambda URL, so I'm just going to copy that so it's in the clipboard. So the three online logging examples I'm going to show you are using Dumptruck, which was written as part of the sls.zone suite of tools. Then I'm going to run you through the built-in serverless framework logger. And then finally, I will show you logging through Cloudwatch management console. So to start Dumptruck, I'll just do that in another tab. We can invoke that once installed from npm, just with Dumptruck. So that'll just bring up a list of your AWS profiles. So if I select my default profile here, and then my region, this will show you the last one that you've used. Last one used within the application will be listed first. And then I'll list your lambdas ordered by most recent. So here you can see at the top, above the ones that I've put out in post, sls.press good bad response example dev. So that's the one we want. So start that. So what this does is attaches to the Cloudwatch event stream and then pipes that through to terminal in a readable way. So if I just hit that good endpoint now, we'll see this is good. And we should see that request starting to come through in Cloudwatch. One thing to note here is there is a little bit of a lag in any service that leverages Cloudwatch logs as it tries to make sure it waits until an event is definitely complete before it reports out. So here we can see as part of the Dumptruck logging, we get your request ID in case you need further debugging with any log information. Key difference from Serverless Offline's debug logging is you don't get your full response body. And then at the end, we supply you with a report of duration, build time, that kind of stuff. So if I now hit the bad endpoint, you'll see that request start. And again, all Cloudwatch logs do wait until they complete. So the difference here, we can see that we've dumped that response object there. That comes through. So we get our stack, and then we get our application. So as part of the provided functionality in Dumptruck application, as you can see, we again, so we can see here, you can just pre-specify all those flags that you selected at the start. So I'll just clear that now, and I'll just run through the built-in serverless one. So the serverless logging is slightly different. You've got to be in the context of a serverless function. So if I go to serverless logs -f and then the function name, which in this instance is goodbad. You can either specify shorthand -t or longhand --tail to tail those logs. So because you're in the direct context of a serverless function, you need to specify your region, but it does mean you can only debug when you're directly in the project folder and have that code running on the machine. So let's get back to that influence. We've got it open. We can see here it's got the logs that I've just triggered, but it's also got the Cloudwatch events that were still in the event stream from before. So those are the ones that we would have pre. So we can see here that the latest request just came through, so it waited until it's complete. So we get the request ID and then the stack as per the stack trace. And then if I was to hit that good endpoint, you can see that come through again. So you can see that start request, and then once the Cloudwatch event completes, we'll see the rest of that information come through. So you can see that logging for this is good has now come through. So one key thing to note with the built-in serverless logging, you need to make sure you're in the context of a serverless project. So if I go up directory and then try and do that log again, we can see that we've got the command you entered did not catch on any hooks. So you need to be directly in the context of a serverless project to invoke that. So that's one thing that you should keep in mind. So now that we've got quite a few events triggered, let's jump over to the Cloudwatch console just to show you what we've got running there. So if you go into your AWS account, assuming you are at this point with AWS Lambda, once you go into Services and then Cloudwatch, you'll have a option down the side which is to go into logs. Normally a list of all the available Lambda agents and other Cloudwatch groups will be shown here, but just to avoid showing client information, I've just popped in the Lambda as a filter already. So if we go into that group, we can see here that there's multiple different log groups assigned against this. One thing to keep in mind with Cloudwatch log groups, they don't always log into the latest. So depending, or if you've got like a production stack where there's lots of logs going out once, you're not necessarily going to have your logs populating into the newest log group. So I think the easiest way, in my opinion, is just to go to search log group, and then that way you are searching against the function. So by default, you get all logs in a row view. but obviously if you're debugging live or looking for a specific issue, it's always much better to have a time context on there. So if we just change that filtering back to 5 minutes, we should get my last couple of events here. By default, these are collapsed, so you'll have to expand them out to see what exactly came through in the results. But the easier way to view these is if you toggle this onto text mode. We can see all those events and everything associated with that coming through in plain text. So if I just swap back to 30 seconds just to show the latest events, and I hit the bad event again. So the same thing will happen here that was happening with the, so we can see we get the start of the request, but even it does take a little while for those logs to get collected and pass through to Cloudwatch. So from there, we can see all those logs collected as well. Those are the, I guess, key areas of where you'll need to do your logging, whether it's in your development environment, in your pre-prod, or just ad hoc to help find an issue. If you want more information on various ways you can do your logging, have a look at the sls.zone articles linked in the description. And for some more examples on the tools used, please follow those links and there'll be a bit more detail provided. Thank you.